Hey everybody, and welcome to day 5 of the 10-day London Reel Vlog Challenge. Today I thought I would talk to you about something that is very dear to my heart and very important for a lot of you viewers out there, and that is tattoo apprenticeships and my thoughts on them, and should you or should you not do them. So, if you want to hear my thoughts, stay tuned.
This stuff is real.
No, it's different this time.
Let me tell you.
Hey everybody, thoughts on tattoo apprenticeships. This idea comes from quite a few other videos that I've seen on YouTube, specifically one by the Fireside Tattoo Network. Check them out up here. Jake Meeks does great videos, and he started off doing fireside chats, and it was artists talking about issues and everything like that. And then he started making fireside technique videos, and those technique videos I found them really good. They've helped me out a couple of times, and his videos have helped me out for the past couple of years, growing as an artist, being comfortable, pushing myself, along with Brian Rose and London Reel. So if you want to see where I'm getting inspired to make this channel from, please again check out Fireside Tattoo Network. So episode 120, they had a video called "Should We Be Teaching Tattooing on YouTube?" And there's a lot of information on YouTube. There's a lot of misinformation, there's a lot of good information, there's a lot of time lapses, there's a lot of information on YouTube. And Jake went into the discussion about how, you know, they're not teaching you exactly how to pull a line and all these subtle nuances, but there are some things that they teach which build on an apprenticeship. And so I think this is a little bit where, no offense Jake, but I disagree with one statement that Jake said, and he says that the apprenticeship process is flawed, that it hasn't been successful, it's not successful now, and it won't be successful in the future. And Jake has much more experience than me, and Jake's tattoo apprenticeship experience was his experience. My apprenticeship wasn't ideal either, but just the concept of an apprenticeship and the idea of it alone is, I find it's still valid. I find that right now the problem is that tattooing has become too commercialized. It's too easy for someone that doesn't know what the hell they're talking about, doesn't have enough experience, to open up their own shop, be wanting to make more money, and then they start saying, "Oh yeah, I'll teach you," and that's just the bad way to start teaching someone. You should not be teaching someone so that way you can be making a buck off of them. Tattoo apprenticeships are, I feel they're meant to be hard. Hate me down below, but I come from a military family. I started working my first job when I was 11, peeling potatoes. I didn't start getting into the tattoo industry until I was already out of the military. And so by then I had a lot of experience working, starting from the bottom and working your way up, and having to pay your dues, and having to do what seemed to me when I was younger as really stupid. Now that I'm older, it makes a lot of sense. And I also read an article on the internet that said that there's a lot of hazing that goes on in the tattoo apprenticeships. And unfortunately this is true, and this is a good reason why a lot of people are avoiding a tattoo apprenticeship. Now, I think part of the reason why this hazing bit goes is for the mentor, for the teacher, for the shop to test your mettle. See what you're worth, see how much you're willing to deal with, how much you pay attention, see how hungry you are to be in this career. It's a trade, it's a craft, it takes years to master, and you have to kind of prove that you're worthy, or that you can take on stress, that you're adaptable, that you can do things, very fundamental things, and be trusted to do very fundamental things before you're given more responsibility. And it's the same thing with an apprenticeship, old school style apprenticeship. You start off sweeping floors, scrubbing toilets, washing windows, welcoming people in, doing drawings, working on your art, doing stencils, learning how to scrub tubes, learning how to, in the old days you used to make needles. No one really makes needles anymore. I never learned how to make needles. These are all important things that come into focus as you get into the industry more. When I went into basic training for the Air Force, we had to fold our underwear into and our t-shirts into 6-inch squares. Literally, you had to take out a measure and measure from one end to the other end, make sure it was 6 inches. And then all the ends of our t-shirt, all the folds, they all had to come and match in a perfect line. And when you're 18, 19, 17, and you're young, and you think that you're immortal, you say, oh, what's the point of doing this? This is stupid, they're just busting our balls. But really, you're learning attention to detail. And I think that is something that is missed in the tattoo apprenticeship discussion, is that a lot of the things that the mentors are supposed to be, because there are bad people out there, what a mentor is supposed to be doing is seeing you as a candidate, you as an artist, you as their apprentice, to see how attentive you are to this. Because as you progress, what makes you a good tattoo artist is your patience and is your attention to detail. Okay, making sure that a line is pulled solidly, even weight, there's no jitters, making sure that you've got smooth gradients, make sure that you've got solid saturation in your colors. All that requires patience. All that requires attention to detail. And if I can't, I'm not a mentor, but if I can't, as a mentor, trust you, my apprentice, to sweep the fucking floors and to mop them, which you're gonna have to do tomorrow, and no one's gonna die, really. You're not fucking anybody's life up by mopping the floor wrong. But these are things that you need to learn in order to be a good tattoo artist, at least in my mindset. And I'm coming to this, again, all this is just my personal opinion. This is all how I see it. This is my kind of response to Jake's video and a couple of the other videos out there about apprenticeships or learning stuff from YouTube. I do see Jake's problem. When Jake was apprenticing, his apprenticeship was driving a shuttle to and from the Navy base. That's excessive, and that is a little bit free labor, a little bit of hazing, and also a little bit of like paying to learn. You know, it's a craft. If you look back to the olden days, you were sold into your apprenticeship at the age of 7. Okay, and then you worked for free. You mucked out the stable. You carried in charcoal to the blacksmith. You didn't touch metal for years, you know, and you had to pay to learn. And I see part of that working as a way for you to pay for your apprenticeship. Another thing that I feel about apprenticeships now is that, send me $3,000, you can come work in my shop, and in 6 months you'll be a tattoo artist. I'm sorry, but bullshit. Bullshit. Okay, because now I'm going on 8 years in this industry, 4 years professionally tattooing, and there is still stuff that I do not know and that I still need to be proficient at. And over the time, how much I've spent of my own sweat equity, money, and everything like that is way more than $3,000. And if anyone did ask me for $3,000 and I gave it to them, there's no way that they could have taught me what I've had to learn over time. So that's the other thing. I disagree with the tattoo schools. I understand. I understand the concept behind it, having a centralized location with some type of curriculum and a way for, okay, this is what I learned week one, and some type of accountability, which is a little bit of what Jake was saying in his video about there being no control over apprenticeships, there being no standard. And with a school, you kind of have some kind of standard, but at the same time, I think it's a money-making gimmick. So I disagree with those as well. So then that brings us up to the other point is, can you learn on YouTube? Should Jake and the Fireside Tattoo Network be teaching on YouTube? Man, I've used a lot of YouTube. I've learned a lot from Jake and through his channel. But at the same time, I don't see what they're doing as detrimental to the craft. I don't see it as blasphemy. I don't see it as heresy, anything like that. I see it as an important role in continuing education. Back in the 90s, early 2000s, before there was YouTube, you could go to a website and you could learn how to tune your machine. There were books that used to get circulated, hand-printed, handwritten books with schematics, how to tune your machine, how to build a machine, different needle groupings. All these circled around before the age of the internet, and I kind of see YouTube as a continuation of that. One book by itself does not take the place of a good solid apprenticeship, of you as an artist, or you as someone who wants to be an artist, sitting down and working with a mentor who takes you through and guides you and has 10 years experience and has seen what water damage looks like, what sun damage looks like, what poor aftercare looks like, what needle too deep is, what it's like tattooing someone with hepatitis, what that's like, how that affects the skin, how it works with tattooing someone that smokes too much, how that affects the skin, someone that drinks too much, how that affects the skin, how to tattoo overweight people, stupidly skinny people. You need to have someone that has a lot of experience teaching you. And watching one video, 2 videos, 3 videos, 20 videos on YouTube I think it's not going to replace the apprenticeship. And I think that it is, I think it's really stupid for people that are in the industry now to think that YouTube is going to completely undermine the apprenticeship and the mentoring program. I might be wrong, but that's just how I see them. The other thing is, how I see things is, again, skewed because of my own experience. Military brat, former military, old school apprentice. It was 4 years before I even picked up a tattoo machine. And also now I'm traveling, and so a lot of the guys that I've worked with here in Romania, they are self-taught, and that completely goes like YouTube versus apprenticeship or anything like that. But being self-taught in itself is hard. It's really hard to teach yourself something only from a video or only from a book. A lot is missed with having that person-to-person interaction without having someone looking over your shoulder, not in a menacing way, but having someone look over your shoulder and be like, oh, why don't you just turn your machine a little bit this way? Okay, on this part of the body, come from upside and push the machine towards you. Oh no, over that, push the person up. You need to have someone that works with you in order for you to get better. I think that you can learn all by yourself. There's lots of artists. There are a lot of really good self-taught artists now. If you ask them, 99% of them would say that it was very difficult for them to learn all by themselves. I think all these bad stories, getting hazed, you coming from too small of a town, that's something else that Jake mentioned. You come from too small of a town, there's only one shop, they don't really know what they're talking about, or they don't want you, or something like that. this is a perfect time for you to push yourself. Get out of your comfort zone, go somewhere else. If you have to save up the money, go somewhere else, and hunt out the right mentor for you. How I am is really nice as a coworker, but how I would be as your mentor is completely different. How I am as your tattoo artist is completely different than how I would be necessarily as your mentor. So if you are out there and you're trying to get into an apprenticeship, you're trying to figure out whether you should apprentice, whether you should just buy some machines off the internet and start going at some pigskin, or learn from YouTube or something like that, I think you need to stop. I really think you need to stop, and I think you need to understand why you want a tattoo, what you have to bring to the tattooing world, and for you, again, like last video, I think even for you to be a tattoo artist, I think you kind of need to know yourself. Especially right now, competition is so fierce. People have asked me, oh, should I become a tattoo artist? No, dude. I think my best advice as of right now is just wait a little while. There's too much going on. Find something else that's creative. You know, it's hard. And there's lots of good artists, and there's good artists that have only been working for 1 year. And I've been tattooing for 4, and I'm like, oh God, I feel like crap. So if you are looking and you still want to, you need to find someone that matches you mentoring. You know, you got to understand what kind of skills they're going to teach you. How long have they been tattooing for? Where else have they worked? What did they do before? I think that you need to find the mentor that matches you the most, because if you can really connect with the mentor, you're going to understand why he or she is telling you the things that they're telling you. They're going to see how much your drive is right off the bat with, hey, if you've been talking to them for months, whatever, you live somewhere else, and then you relocate, leave from wherever you are, and then you come to their town, you walk in face to face, and just start hanging out at the shop. It's going to speak more than anything that you could say. So yeah, this is my thoughts on it. Number one, I don't think that the apprenticeship process is too flawed to make it not worth it. Number two, I disagree with having to pay for tattoo apprenticeships. I disagree with having to pay for apprenticeships. I disagree with tattoo schools, and I don't really have anything wrong with putting up educational bits, videos, clips on YouTube. I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. So those are my thoughts, and if you are looking to be an apprentice, I think you should hunt out and find a good shop that you're a match for, and be willing to invest the time, and you gotta pay your dues. As they say in the blues, you know, you gotta pay your dues, and eventually things start coming around. So speaking of paying your dues, day 5 of this, holy cow, doing it every day is kind of difficult with everything else that's going on in my life. So if you are enjoying these videos, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any comments, please drop them down in the comment section below. Check out some of the videos that I post down below from Jake Meeks and the Fireside Tattoo Network, and also don't forget to subscribe. So yeah, thanks everybody. Until then, I'm gonna do a little dance and put the subscribe button right here. Check out the video right here. Oh yeah.